Welcome to the G Woman Media Voices of Influence series, where we spotlight women whose voice, leadership, and impact are shaping the future. I'm Swapna Abraham, and today we're joined by Dr. Nikki Clarke, an award winning media personality, author, and community leader with over 17 years of experience in television production. She is the founder and host of The Nikki Clarke Show, an independent talk show dedicated to transformational storytelling, and the founder of the Nikki Clarke Network, a platform committed to transforming the way people connect. She's also the creator of Quinte Vibes Live, proud partner of G Women Media, and serves as the Faith Community Reintegration Project Coordinator for Toronto. Dr. Clarke is a country coordinator for the Institute of Information Management, IIM Canada, and a former instructor in the Faculty of Early Childhood Education at Sheridan College. A recipient of numerous national awards, she's passionate about empowering communities through media, education, and entrepreneurship. Today, we'll explore what it really means to own your voice in a world full of noise, and why the women who learn to amplify it may very well shape the future. Welcome, Dr. Clarke.
Oh, thank you so much, Swapna. It's truly a pleasure and an honor to be here.
We're thrilled to have you here. Believe it or not, for you to be on the other side of of this, it should be quite interesting. I've gone through your Conversations That Matter show that's transforming lives, one story at a time. And it's about time for us to tell the world your story and bring your voice out, Nikki. Thank you so much for being here with us. If I can get to it right away, it's just a few questions, and we can't wait. And we can't wait to listen to what you have to say, by the way.
Thank you.
Nikki, what gap did you see in your industry? Whether it is your talk show, your network, your authorship, or the sectors at large, media, education, entrepreneurship, that made you realize your voice was needed, please.
Yes, absolutely. And that's a wonderful question. When I started the show, I felt there was an absence of authentic storytelling. I started the show 17 years ago, and not to disrespect any of the programming that was going on, but I was seeing a lot of surface stories, a lot of show and share, but not really going beyond the surface to really talk about some of the root issues that were prevalent and continue to be prevalent in society, and it was always my desire to have a platform that was safe, non-judgmental, where people could really share from an authentic place. And this is why the show was born, to give people that opportunity to have an emotional, cathartic release of whatever they were holding on to, their own personal story, and being able to share that story, be healed in the way that they are, unpacking, and have people who are listening be healed as well, because they recognize that they are not alone in that situation, that circumstance. And the show was and continues to be a resource for people to unpack, to get unstuck personally or professionally. So that's, that was the impetus for me to start the show. It was really about stories that transform. And I wasn't sure, Swapna, how the community would receive the intentionality of the show when I first started 17 years ago, but I'm very humble to say that I received a number of awards, and it continues to, support people's journey, not only from Canada, but worldwide. And I'm very happy to sit back and listen and learn, and to connect people so that they are meeting each other, whether it be on the online platform or in the studio, and they are continuing a positive trajectory of their lives because of this, this point of contact through the show. So to me, it's like a ministry, and I didn't understand fully what I was getting into, but I realized that there were so many destinies tied to the show, and that's why I'm very passionate about continuing. If people want to hear the stories for another 17 years, I'm happy to facilitate that, but I'm going to keep it growing for as long as people need to be a part of what I call, the movement of, as you alluded to, conversations that matter.
Lovely. And does it actually get, the initial impetus you had when you started, because you were an educator before, right? And for someone, did you always think you had this in you? The storytelling and being an instructor and educator, are they similar? Are they different? Because I'm just wondering the transition. How easy was it for you, Nikki, to move and to start something like this?
I, I think I have to give I know I have to give a lot of the credit for my storytelling development to my parents, who saw something in me and encouraged me to do, work in front of the stage, be on stage. I think my first time on stage was when I was 5 years old.
Wow.
I was a toy dolly in Santa Claus's sack, so I had to crawl out, dance, and then go back into the sack. So that was kind of like my motivation as an actor, singer, dancer from the time I was 5. But that grew, that interest in being in front of people and sharing a little bit of my talent, my story, and encouraging people to do that grew, throughout these
Fantastic.
years. Yeah.
Awesome. Nothing's more wonderful to hear your parents mentioned, or, when someone mentions grandparents, it's all very, very touching how so much can start at home. So here, the next
Absolutely.
question, Nikki, the influencer behind the influence. So who shaped your leadership most, and what did she or he teach you?
My first role models, I have to say, were my parents. Having,
Awesome.
having being an immigrant child, coming to Canada at a very early age from Jamaica, my family, my mother, my father, myself, real 3-year-old, coming into a new environment, new language. I learned very quickly through my parents about resilience, about
Mm,
flexibility, about acclimatizing, and about appreciating diversity. And it really was through the lens of, as a child, me learning how to fit in, learning French, making
yes.
friends, not knowing French, but having to really be maybe a little performative and using my body to say, what is this, or how do you say this, and then they would tell me the word in French. So I learned very early that I had to get out of my comfort zone in order to make connections,
Wow.
and also not to take certain rejection or certain misunderstandings and take it personally, because it was the only way I was going to learn. And my parents poured a lot into me in terms of understanding who I was, being, the only English and West Indian family in an all French neighborhood. Uh,
Wow. Oh,
in order for me to really balance off the new environment, they really took their time to have me understand my Caribbean background. I learned about the heroes in the West Indies. I also was very familiar with what was going on in the United States, and as well as Black Canadian history. So this was very intentional for me to be very grounded in my identity, so that when I go out into the environment, whatever was interacting with me, positive or negative, I knew who I was. So I thank my parents for doing that for me.
One of our viewers is saying, how important are parents? Everything. Gosh, thank you for bringing that. And Misty Dong, the beauty about migrating is that we come with a comparative that natives may not necessarily have. It fuels a desire to grow by discerning opportunities for growth and expansion. Indeed, indeed. Well, it's a more adventurous,
Mhm.
taking it. I don't know, not too personally, because you've got to keep getting up every time you fall. You can't just
You
sit,
have
you
to
can't
keep
just
getting
be
up.
there. Very
Mhm.
resilient. I see that in
Yeah.
you, Nikki. Thank you. Thank you for
Yes.
sharing that.
Thank you.
Um, yay. And for your impact and transformation, what actually do you think changes for the women or the organizations you serve because of your work?
Well,
What's your signature? Yeah.
it's always been about using your voice not only to advocate for yourself, but to advocate for the group. And I'll give you an instance. When I ran for public office, I ran for member of provincial parliament in 2018. I recognized that there was a gap in representation of Black women. The presence there was not prevalent, and it's growing still
Hmm.
in terms of that visibility. But I wanted to tackle what were my values and what I proposed based on what really interested me, and that was to help marginalized communities. Just seeing, you know, just too many disparities in terms of income, affordable housing, education. All these gaps were
Yeah.
something that touched me, and I brought it forth as a way that I knew that I could support in this way if others supported me in having me being elected. So it always comes, the voice comes from within, from your own interests, and it builds out in terms of where you can find alignment in your community. So I've heard people say, your vibe attracts your tribe, and that's really what it's
Oh,
about.
nice. Absolutely. Absolutely. And the next question again is about signature superpower, but we've heard it said that women are better storytellers of women's stories. Do you think that's true, Nikki?
I absolutely do. I think women are incredible in terms of really being empathetic, understanding the core of the message, and being able to convert that into a very compelling message. So and women are very good at attracting people together, attracting groups, creating community. And when the community is grown, then if you can have a compelling storyteller, then you can really influence the improvement of whatever the situation is, and you can move people forward. And that's always been my core value, is to push humanity forward using the platform to help. Yeah.
Fantastic, fantastic. Um, how you see, G Woman at G Woman Media, we're here to amplify women's voices,
Yes.
our views, our narratives, our values, our stands. How important do you think it is in this time and age for women to have their voice amplified?
I think it's incredibly important that women step into their power and use their power for good, because we know that societies are shaped by the women in community. They nurture, they socialize, they raise families, they teach values, they do so much to support families, but this is where societies are built. So if we can impact upon women to advocate for themselves, to advocate for their families, you're going to see such a shift in the ripple effect of societal change. And we're seeing worldwide that what has been established, what is the status quo, is not working. So we need women. We really need women to be in their power. And I encourage all women to step gracefully in their power because we need you.
Awesome. I wanted to know, was it your parents that migrated
Yes.
or grandparents? Okay, so do you think there's been a difference in how perhaps your mother will have stood as a matriarch vis-a-vis how Dr. Nikki Clarke does in advocacy for women? Do you think there's a difference?
Yes, there is a difference, and there's also there's a generational gap in terms of what the expectations were on her as a
Hmm.
wife, as a mother, as a daughter,
Yes,
and the changes for me as a mother, daughter, dot dot dot.
correct.
So I look at her as a woman of so much strength, and I hope that I can carry on the legacy of what she showed me to be feminine yet powerful, impactful in raising my children well. I have 3 children in their 30s, and I'm very
So
proud of what they've been able to achieve and what I've been able to instill in them for their children to come. And whatever I've been taught by my mother and I've taught my children, when we interact with our communities, we're making a difference because we're showing up the way that we should in our authentic selves and the way that we understand that whatever we have to offer is positive and making an impact. So it doesn't have to be you know, um, a big shift. It just starts from within, and I think the family is very important in understanding and growing those messages to impact the larger communities. So,
fantastic.
my best.
I just love these comments as well, Nikki, as we're talking. Your vibe attracts your tribe, what you said. But even before the one before that, about so much that women do. Yes, so much of what and who women are is invisible to men. Wow, I've never heard it said like that though before, that it's invisible to men. Yes, women are better at telling our stories. Well, Nikki, you are an author. You've been writing.
Yes.
So how much of the your show content comes in your books, or is that another part of you?
It's very much all the books have a common denominator, and that's about inspiring people to move forward in whatever area. For example, I have a new book out, The Paperclip Princess, which is a children's book,
Oh,
and
no.
it's about a young girl recognizing her talent of creating found items in the home and designing jewelry out of it. So it's to recognize that even simple things can be turned into something beautiful. But she's also encouraged in the story to start her own business. So encouraging young girls, young boys to understand that their gift can make a way for them and
Mm,
may not be doctors and lawyers and teachers, but maybe they're going to be business people. And we know that
mhm.
entrepreneurs are the backbone of every society. We need them to
Absolutely.
create economy. So that's one book. And yeah, so it's a recurring theme in all my stories is that if you can see it, you can achieve it. You have the ability, whether it's directly or indirectly, to inspire someone to do better.
I love that you've written that children's book, because to get them that young, it's makes a big difference. You never know, when they're older, they just may recall something they've read in the book, and it just may come up when they're adults.
It might spark something. Absolutely. Yeah.
It's happened to me. Well, Nikki, your message to women. Um, what do women need to? Let's talk about the next generation as well, right? What do women need to understand about influence and leadership right now?
Women need to understand that they are very important in standing in their power and not shrinking themselves to fit in, that they are beautifully made the way they are, and that they should take their intrinsic, talents, their values, and step forward in whatever they have, their abilities to make a difference, to impact their families, their communities, which ultimately will change society for the better. So I think gone are the days where women will sit back and be told to do certain things, or to shrink themselves to, fit in. Um, that doesn't resonate with women anymore. And I think it's very important that this type of leadership, women and men lead differently. Women espouse those values to lead the best way. And I'm excited to see where the future holds in terms of women really entering into those spaces of governmental leadership, um, senior roles where the impact is incredibly global and forceful and powerful, and it's coming.
Absolutely. What do you hope people will feel, remember, or become after they find their voice? I believe you found it at about the age of 5. What happens to people when they find their voice?
To sit in it, to don't waver. When you decide to step into that power, you're going to attract good, the bad, and the ugly, and you have to be able to navigate through it all,
Hmm.
and love yourself through the good and the storms that come. And yeah, stay strong, stay rooted in who you are. And again, I attribute my strong identity based on what was poured into me at a young age. So if that's something that didn't happen at a young age, find a mentor now
Hmm.
who can pour into
Absolutely.
you and help you to achieve that sense of identity, and stay where you are. You don't waver.
Well, well, well. A woman with a voice influences her world. A woman with a platform changes it. This has been the G Woman Media Voices of Influence series. Thank you so much, Dr. Nikki Clarke, for being our guest today. It's been an absolute privilege listening to you.
Well, the honor and privilege is mine. I thank you so much, Swapna, and I thank you, Alex, the one of the founders, so much for your just your graceful leadership. And I thank all the viewers today. I hope that there's something that you can take from our conversation. And please reach out to G Women. We have so much to share and to learn from each other. Thank you.
Merci. Au revoir.